luck, Evan. Have fun.
Good luck to you too.
All right, so we are live from Varberg Morghulis. My name is Victor Edström. With me, as always,
This is Ben Fox, and we're going to be commentating the final 3 matches of the Varberg Morghulis.
well, actually, this will be the semi-final, best out of 3 thing.
2 semi-finals.
But we are only streaming the one.
What?
Yes, I'm afraid so. We're trying to make commentary for, or actually, we might be holding back. It looks like they're starting to play as well. So I think we're only having Tamás Albeck playing his Night's Watch deck as always, the defending champion from last year. And on the left side we've got Evan Sword, and he's going to play his Greyjoy deck, his Greyjoy Reigns deck that is it's performed fairly well against Night's Watch decks throughout yesterday's proceedings. He did lose to Johan, who's on the other side of the semi-final, against Jakob Hultman. Johan plays a Night's Watch deck that the Builders deck that we saw yesterday, and Jakob Hultman is also playing Greyjoy Reigns, but I'd say there's a bit of a difference between the way Evan's deck works, whereas versus Jakob's deck.
Look at those mind games, going straight in against the commentators first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
You see that token on the handsome man's nose?
Yeah.
You know what those are?
No.
This is from my quest last year, when I tried to play in a different country every month for the entire year.
All right.
And I handed out those tokens to everybody who beat me in a tournament on my track.
Oh, so
that was Evan's one.
He's right off the bat. Evan is trying to confront us personally. Interesting.
Nice.
Interesting. Yeah. Well,
And that's where kind of the support for these players. It's seriously cool seeing the actual list of semi-finalists for the tournament. Because where we're going through it, and people, online might talk about variance in the game and how this game is too random compared to the test edition. But in reality, half of the semi-finalists are the same from last year.
Exactly.
You got one more who's the reigning UK champion.
Right.
Like, where is this variance coming from?
It's
and
hard.
in this match, it's actually quite tough then to see where the support would lie, because obviously Tamás is a fan favorite in this situation. There's so many admirers of his, like looking at how he's gone through the tournament circuit, how he's made Night's Watch a thing pretty much single-handedly, even before they got all the pieces that people started to complain about.
I'd say in many ways, Tamás's win here last year was very much the eye-opener for what the Night's Watch deck could do. And since then, it's only got stronger and stronger. Wama's win with the Builder stack, and
But also
we've
on
seen the evolution.
But also in the West, where you have the US Nationals win, would have very much been inspired by the successes people saw from Night's Watch going through.
Surely. And also, in a way, these Greyjoy decks, both Jakob's deck and Evan's, it's really Ishan's deck, isn't it? They're both, in many ways, they are answers to Night's Watch, right?
Well, they would think so, but as he said, like, he has lost the game to the horrible summer deck. Thanks, Wama. And like there's certainly weaknesses there. While it does help against the decks they're playing, a lot of it can still be very, very tough to control. Right. And I think Tamás's deck has the flexibility. Like if you look at the UK Nationals last weekend, where Tamás's deck was played by Darren Hazelden, and he was able to win matches even where he didn't draw the wall, just off the strength of the characters in the deck and the balance that the deck brings.
Not as.
Yeah, you're very right. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on here. We just had a coin flip since they both have 3 for initiative.
Yeah, so you have on Tamás's side, you have the Time for Maesters, and on Evan's side, you have Counting Coppers, so really making sure that they're fully set up for the game.
Right. So coin toss for initiative. Did we understand who got to be the first player?
Yeah, the first player is Tamás with that well-travelled first player
Evan's
token that Evan carries around.
Yeah, right. So they both got very nice setups, I'd say. I like. Even if it might seem like Tamás got his perfect setup and maybe Evan didn't, but Evan has plenty of intrigue icons already on the board, which is key for him to be able to trigger his reigns whenever he needs to. Of course, this deck isn't relying necessarily on triggering reigns, but it's nice to be able to do it when you want to.
I think with a lot of those Greyjoy Rain decks, the reason they play them is because they have enough economy not to need fealty. And then the range trigger is nice. Like if you listen to a lot of their players getting the wins done with them, they'll still get results even if they don't trigger reigns in half of their matches.
Exactly. And it's sometimes it's just the threat of the reigns trigger that forces the opponent to overcommit, and that's just as good as actually triggering it sometimes. So looking into Evan's hand here, I don't see much.
Well, there's Vic there.
So he's got Victarion.
He's got Asha.
He's got Asha, and he's got more priests. He got reduced.
Iron Mines.
Yeah, one Iron Mines will be interesting, but it's
So
also
apart
got
from the total lack of gold, it's actually working out nicely.
Yeah, he's clearly lacking in economy. He could get some of those reducers out, I guess. He's also got, I think the shipwright will be instrumental here. He needs to play that, right? Shadow
Right
Tower's
now there
already
isn't
out.
much there. Like he's not
Shadow
as
Tower's
concerned,
there.
but he's not as concerned about Shadow Tower as the crossing decks would be.
Right.
He's not as reliant on having to get all the
Right,
challenges
right.
across, so he can actually commit
right.
to the bigger ones.
That's correct. But still, he might have to shump things in order to get shump one challenge or make a like divided between two challenges, and having one of his more important characters removed from making that second challenge might be quite problematic if he needs to get something across. Still, there's no wall on the table, so we're not on dire straits yet. So we see Tamás make a small intrigue challenge here.
Yeah, the injury challenge could be irritating because there is a bunch of pieces that even really wants for later on.
So many cards you can
He's got 2 saves in hand, right? So he's not worried about the military challenge at all right now.
Yeah. But I'm not sure Tamás necessarily wants to throw across the military challenge.
No.
He wants to build up his board. He wants to be able to oppose challenges. So.
Right. Right. No, I don't think so. But Evan should block this then. Should be quite an easy.
Although that is a military challenge. Stop lying to me, Vic.
How could it be a military challenge with a green? Oh, he's got the practice blade on him. All right, sorry. Now here's the intrigue challenge then.
No.
And that is blocked. Well, no. Yeah, it's blocked. 2 against 3.
Yeah, so even at this point is letting him have the power, so he's actually able to claim it on his own power challenge. So it's a big advantage of actually being able to go first. And a lot of these games are very heavily based on initiative.
Right, right. Initiative is really when you first start playing Thrones, you might not consider the initiative of your plots very much, but in the end, it's really important.
And it's a huge deal as well, like in terms of what plots are revealed and how plots are chosen. It really alters the value of plots over time.
Right.
Because it's something that I kind of had to learn in my own game, looking at how I value plots in terms of what way their initiative compares against common openers, against frequently played plots. So some of the really frequent things you might see, like Heads on Spikes, like Winter Festival, you could see a situation where people switch from one to the other purely based on what kind of initiative people are rocking in their decks.
Surely. I mean, so many decks need to have a certain position, like going first or going second, constantly, or at least with some consistency. And also being able to remove that option from those decks can be just as important, as well as it's quite situationally for any deck when they need to go first or second.
You managed to.
We have Heads on Spikes into Summer Harvest here.
Triggers.
Yeah, so again, like the battle for initiative continues. We saw Tamás's deck was playing 2 Heads on Spikes.
Right. And
So he's really kind of stacking up
that's a good pull.
the initiative and giving himself the option to stack up power as well.
Yeah, yeah. And also getting one card out of Evan's hand.
Yeah, but realistically, every deck is looking to play somewhere north of 30 characters.
Right.
So your expected value on each Heads of Spikes is over 1 power.
Right.
When you're getting over the 1 power, when you have the 6 initiative,
Yeah.
and worst case scenario, even if you miss, you still get
Still
an
get
entry
full.
claim.
Yeah.
That's where it has come to kind of surpass Winter Festival in a lot of decks, or supplement the Winter Festival.
For sure. I often play 2 Heads on Spikes in a deck, just because that will even out to get me at least, well, hopefully 2 powers between the 2 of them. And again, it's not so much the power as the ability to weaken your opponent's hand after maybe a low reserve plot or something.
Yeah. But it's again putting pressure on your opponent, because with Night's Watch decks, when you oftentimes have the inevitability on your side, putting that pressure on them, reducing their options, is a really, really big deal.
Right, definitely. So it looks like Evan is considering his options here, and if we look into his hands, he's got quite a few. Asha might be a good idea. He's got a little bird for her as well, and also obviously Victorian Greyjoy is always fine. Right now he's got a fairly healthy hand size.
I think with the 2, I think with the 2 Iron Mines out, it might be worthwhile to get Victorian while the board is still quite big and Asha isn't relevant.
Right.
And then look to drop Asha after the reset.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And here we see the shipwright, and I think that's going to be important eventually, at least. Those are not saves. I'm the 0
Raiding the Bear Vests.
Those are the raiding. Oh, yeah, I remember now. Evan is playing those. It lets him. When he wins the challenge, doesn't have to be unopposed. Oh, he goes for Asha with the little bird anyway.
Well, fine, Evan.
So it lets him bounce a location to the top of his opponent's deck, and I bet he's waiting for the wall to hit, so that he can do that and get Tamás to have to pay the cost over and over again. Tamás isn't running much of those, you call them elves on the shelf?
Yeah.
The builders that let you reduce. I
Here
think
we
he's only
are.
playing
Yes, we
1 or
go.
2 of those, maybe? So he hasn't got too much reduction for his buildings.
Yeah, but he doesn't
Tomás
necessarily the reduction for the buildings, like when he's
Oh.
got the
He told us yesterday
native discounter.
He's only really running 6 economy cards in his whole deck. He's
Yeah.
running 3 King's Roads, and they can't help him to play the wall. And then he's running 3 underground walls, which obviously is tremendous value. All right, so let's have a look at Tamás's hand. Oh, he flipped through it too fast there, but he's got 2 reducers out, so, and he's pushing the camera somewhat. I'm not sure. All right. So he's got Benyon in there. He's got
What is going on?
Corin half hand. Oh, someone's adjusting the camera for us. Thank you so much. He's
Ghosts,
also got
ghosts
double-
on stream. Help!
It's that Castle Black, and it's Ranging Party. He's got 2 Nightmares as well, and a double of the. He's got a dupe for the Iron Throne. Let's see.
So Castle Black was pretty enormous
Yeah,
in the previous match.
Right,
Castle Black
right.
more or less single-handedly kept him in the game.
yeah. very much so.
Once he had core in a half hand start rolling all up in his hood.
Yeah. So we got reduction now, and then he's playing Benyon early on.
So Benjamin is a big deal when you got the Asha coming down on the other side of the board.
Right.
It's having this
making the stuff.
the Rangers all being able to block her,
Yeah.
even if that Craven comes off her.
Yeah.
Suddenly she's not nearly as much value.
Right. So
I mean, I'm not saying even should have played Victarion, but
So we have a Craven on Ash as well, it looks like. And Evan is looking a little bit distraught there. He's considering where to go from here.
well,
Stealth
it's
is
not that dire
irrelevant.
situation. Like, you still have the power is 3-3.
Right.
You still have many of the reset options building up.
Yep. Surely.
And right now, he doesn't actually have much valuable anything but he particularly wants to keep out there.
No.
So even if you were to reset, like, you could easily keep an Iron Throne.
I'm not sure why he's not kneeling the Castle Black here.
What challenge?
He's going into challenge phase here, obviously, so it's too late to kneel Castle Black now. But I would certainly have knelt Castle Black.
I think he wants the intrigue options. Even just as a block itself, he wants to make sure the power isn't escalating there.
Right,
Because if he swings across and suddenly he's conceding 2 or 3 unopposed,
right.
that's going to be quite a big deal. But in reality,
Look at
like,
that.
it's
Yeah, look at that. This is... he's losing that intrigue option anyway, because now Shadow Tower can remove the priest.
clearly he has sensed our disappointment over the Victarion pick and
Yeah.
is somewhat rattled by it.
Yeah, that's got to be it. But you do know that even Victarion is really weak with the Craven on him.
No, Victarion's really intimidating with the milk on him,
Right,
with the Craven on him.
right. So we have... looks like... Is that a block? No? Yeah, it was a block in the red challenge.
No, it's a military from...
Oh, they passed
Sam.
challenges, so...
Sam is really knocking out the park in the military right now.
Right,
He is
right.
becoming the man who stole Heartseeker before the show forgot that he did.
yeah. And get a power challenge, I can only assume, from the ranging party. For 5 right now. And it's opposed and blocked.
Yeah, the maths here is kind of funny, like, because it's almost hard not to consider, not start counting in the wall.
Yeah.
It's like it's printed 5,
yeah,
surely,
yeah.
but what is it really?
And that's very significant. Tamás pulls a newly made lord for his green claim, and then we stand. Obviously, dominance to Tamás because he's got Iron Throne out. So Tamás needs to discard down for reserve.
And it's more Iron Thrones.
Yeah, he didn't consider he needed that. Dude.
So the question for Even really is, how long can he afford to let it go before the reset?
Right.
Because his economy is decent right now. It's not phenomenal.
No, but, and this is important, Tamás has a very healthy hand. He even had to discard down for reserve there. And
that newly made Lord's discard is very,
that
very
was
relevant.
very relevant. I'm sure Evan was planning on using him. Evan has a little bit of economy now. He's got 1 Great Hall and he's got 1 Reducer and he's got 1 Rose Road. It takes him into a territory where he can fairly comfortably play a card like Newly Made Lord and also play something else of relevance. So we have Confiscation to remove, I can only assume, the Craven from Asha, and we have another Heads on Spike from Tamás. And here's what we see. We see how Tamás is depleting Evan's hand. Evan is down to only 3 cards in hand now. And that is huge. That means that Evan can't really reset the board willy-nilly. He needs to have... he needs to make sure that he gets something of value out of that. And at this point, if he would have reset this turn, for instance, we would have had 2 power gained by Tamás for Benjen, and we would have had
Aemon, that's it.
Aemon just save himself. So that would have been fairly.
It's so
even
easy for
reset.
Eamon being in the Night's
Yeah,
Watch. Never has to think about the women and children.
It would have been a really even sort of reset kind of thing. And after this turn, because we saw Tamás has a dupe for Sam in his hand. All right, so Tamás grabs his money there. Oh, Victarion was Marshall there. So now you get your favorite on the board there.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Whose more common nickname wouldn't really work with our intended PG rating.
right. So we got a dupe on Eamon here, and I can only assume we get a dupe on Sam.
That's not good.
And the reset option is looking bleaker and bleaker.
Well, the good news is this is the best of 3 match.
It is the best of 3, so Evan gets the chance to do this all over again in a bit. And yeah, Evan does look a bit puzzled as.
Yeah, not a situation you would want to be first player in.
No, this is again. I think he should kneel Castle Black. I can't stress enough that I think that's a really good play here. Wait for Tamás to marshal his things. Right, there we go. Thank you, Evan. That is the first step.
Yeah, just do exactly as we say.
Yeah.
Well, don't do exactly as we say, because
'cause
otherwise
that
people
would-
assume you can hear us.
Yeah,
And that'll be a controversy. We definitely don't want any of that.
Right. So
But
what
in
would
the
you-
meantime, we're somewhat immune to controversy because somebody seems to log me out of Twitch. I'm desperately trying to hack my way into my own account
All
to
right.
see what people are talking about on chat. But we're pretty immune to it right now, so that's pretty sweet.
So we have Tamás marshalling now. Well, Tamás is still marshalling. He might have finished up marshalling, maybe. He's got 5 gold left, so I don't think so. And that is a haunted forest. Yes, he put a dragon glass dagger, I think, on the ranging party. He had a bird marshal, and now he's reducing something. That's Halder. Reduction for 1, so he's only paying 2 for that. And he keeps a few cards in hand.
Yeah, so it's really kind of a waiting game for the wall right now.
Right.
And in the meantime, it's maneuvering back and forth to see how much setup for the wall is required.
Right, and I think that was a nightmare on Asha. And then we have math from Evan, and he's shaking his head in disbelief.
It is not looking good for the Lord of Light playmat.
It really isn't.
Because last night they got to 4-3.
Yeah,
So after having made the cut quite narrowly on strength of schedule, the playmat is really kind of on the ropes.
right. And this first match here is it's not looking like it's the dog's bollocks, really. So we do have Varys in hand for Evan, and that's not going to help him much.
Because he
could
also
have-
struggles to save from Varys himself.
Exactly. So
He'd almost need to do
he'd
a
have
Valor, hope to draw a dupe for Victarion or Asha, and then Varys?
maybe, or just have a full reset. Just a Varys into a Valar to get an empty board for himself and for
Yeah, but he
Tamás.
can't afford to play the Varys
No.
before the Valor, because
No.
Night's Watch still keep all their bits and pieces.
Right. Well, Eamon can't save from Varys,
Or you
right?
can save from Valor.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
because- yeah.
So if
He has a dupe for Varys.
yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't completely empty Tamás's board. Tamás would still have Eamon on the board, but it would be a knelt Eamon against the world. Well, Evan himself would be empty as well, of course, and Evan doesn't have much of a hand.
Yeah, in this situation,
Yeah, it's grim. So we have a intrigue challenge coming across. I think.
Almost as if magic
Did that mean Evan passed challenges?
you keep saying it's intrigue. It's probably military again. No,
No, it
because
can't
this
be.
one time.
Eamon actually doesn't have a.
Oh, Eamon's in.
Eamon's in this challenge. So
Bullying.
It's a 4 strength intrigue, and it's opposed. And that's the other pillagey thingy, where you get to bounce a location to the top of the deck. I think Evan is running 2 of those, so that was both of them. And this would be it could be either military or power, it looks like. Strength 7, right? Some math. Strength 11, I think.
14.
Yes, I have chat.
All right, so
We have 35 viewers at this hour of the morning. What is wrong with you people?
Well, it is the semi-finals of a very interesting tournament, so it makes sense. All right.
I mean, we welcome it and everything. We're really excited.
So
but
this was the power challenge, obviously, and it's just a post by Evan, and then we go into dominance. Tamás draws some cards with his bird, and we stand.
So the good news is the power totals are staying quite under control for the moment.
Well, but Tamás is slowly gaining, whereas Evan is still on 3.
There is a definite feel of inevitability.
It is. And the wall will eventually, maybe that even was the wall in Tamás's hand. I'm not sure. We are getting building orders here against marched. And I think for Evan, playing the marched here is more, but it's the least bad plot you can play. It's not making anything of consequence, but it's 4 gold.
Give him a chance to win initiative. Again, like, he's just digging for solutions right now.
Yeah, exactly.
He needs a dupe for Victarion and probably Asha as well.
Right. And I think that was the wall was the last one of those. Yeah, he's got the wall there. And he's got 2 walls even in there, so we can only assume he's grabbing that.
Seems like a reasonable choice.
And then he's got enough gold to play it without any major problems.
Well, he also doesn't need any characters. Like, he can take the time to play the wall.
Yeah. He could just play the wall and be done with it. And maybe play the bird again. With fealty. So 4 gold for Tamás. And another 2 with the underground walls. And then Tamás will marshal a dupe for Castle Black and start the wall coming down. It has to be, right?
Yeah, there's no reason not to play it.
Yeah. Well, he's got all the other pieces on the board already, and that is the wall, yeah.
There it
So
is.
he's got
Lovely.
2 gold left, and using fealty to play the bird, and maybe playing that King's Road for 1. No? Keeping it in hand.
I think King's Road here, you could play it just to get initiative.
Yeah, I would. It's 1 gold, and he's got 2 left, and he's only got the 1 Nightmares in hand anyway, so he couldn't possibly find much more use for that gold. He's already got Iron Throne out, so dominance is not an issue really. I don't think he needs another Dragon Glass Dagger. I'd just play the King's Road and pass. Nope, Dragon Glass Dagger is. So we've got a 9 strength ranging party here, right?
Yeah, I think Tamás is getting quite nostalgic about the achievement he got in the Swiss.
Right.
About winning with a character with 3 attachments on him.
Right.
So just stacking those up again and then making sure that the Impassable Rangers party can block Asha
Can
if
block
she tries
anything.
to stealth around or anything.
Yeah. Sure.
Anything cool in...
In
Ewan's
Evan's hand, he's got the
No.
reader. He's got some.
Nothing relevant.
I'd say the only relevant card in there is Varys eventually, and it's not really there yet, but it could at least get there.
This camera is way clearer today than it was yesterday.
Yeah, I think our good friend Andreas Aldrin
He was magicking it.
was working on it a bit this morning.
Indeed.
So we
Not
get Varys on the board. Makes sense. He doesn't want to lose it to Intrigue Claim, and it does have stealth, so he could do something.
It is a tough situation, though, because he's putting himself in a position where Tamás can now consider his own valor to
Right.
get rid of Varys,
Right.
which
Sure,
would then shrink the Varys options.
Sure.
I mean, he could
Secondly-
then save him with the Iron Mines, but it means that
One of these other characters has to go. Yeah.
Asha would then go away.
Yeah, most likely. She's still on the small board. Asha's really irrelevant. She's already got a little bird on her.
But Victarion.
Yeah, sure. And Victorian's also got renown, so that's pretty good. The combination of the two on a small board, though, that's really where the money's at. Because if you can swing in with Victorian first and kneel something down and then get Asha popping for 2 more challenges, that's where you want to be at. All right. So this game isn't being run very fast, and that's only to expect. Not only is it high stakes, being the semi-finals, but also Evan was out all night partying. So
Well,
it's,
it was actually the Great Beards. They kept him up for a special midnight episode of the Great Beards of Westeros.
Right,
Just
right.
making sure he can definitely avoid getting that competitive edge. So really kind of playing favourites here.
And also, Evan, the first thing he said this morning when I came in was that he was really looking forward to possibly up to 6 hours of grinding against the wall. So yeah, he's hyped up.
Yeah, but even looking at it here, we had a bit of a questionnaire
Yep,
for the top players, and we asked them what convinced them to go to Varberg.
you're right.
So let us read out, word for word, sincerely, Evan's answer. My beard decided to meet with Samuel's beard. Fortunately, that has placed thrones as well. And a coffee. Definitely the coffee. So in reality, even if he was kept up all night for the midnight version of the Great Beards of Westeros, it's really the intended purpose. I mean, he's
He's here for
mostly
that.
just a passenger.
That's why he's here. Yeah. Tamás on the other side had 3 reasons to come to Varberg this year. Number 1 was friends, and number 2 was I love Sweden, and number 3 was prepare myself for worlds and Starlek. So we can see that there is a difference in the focus between the 2 players here. Tamás is all business. He's always the gentleman, always the humble passenger, but he's definitely all business as well. He's here to win. And
And you can see that business through the year's record.
right,
He's
right.
won the dockside. He's got Flea Bottom Fracas this year.
Right.
He's potentially going for his 3rd Road to Starlek win.
Right.
Can
Does
they
that
just
mean-
guarantee him a seat at Starlek and let other people play for the actual?
Couldn't that be it, right? I mean, by this time he's got three buys, and you can only use the one anyway. Yeah.
Maybe you can use against 3 different people. Just
Right. Yeah. Take 3 buys in a row.
No, I mean in the first round, just say you get a loss, you get a loss.
Oh, all right. Like a negative buy sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hand out losses.
Maybe you can cash in like 3 normal buys for 1 negative buy.
Yeah. All right. Right.
So you know.
Yeah. Take Janice Rupert or some of the really heavy competition out early. I'm not sure those people would appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm not sure they should let us design the tournament format for Starlek, but while we're here,
Yeah, Wolfgang, if you're listening, don't listen to us.
I mean, dude, just don't take it to heart or anything.
All right, so if we're trying to pay attention a little bit to the game actually unfolding here, it is slowed down to a crawl here, but we do have
An intriguing challenge.
with 2. This might. I mean, he's only got two stealths on there, so he's stealthing Eamon and he's basically trying to push this one through, and making it so that Sam has to kneel, and that takes off one of the many draw options in the Night's Watch deck.
Well, no,
So
he
he's-
just haunted first.
Yeah, he won't get of course, he could just leave it and have Sam up, but he doesn't. He defends with Sam. So that's still, Evan still wins it. Neil's hunted for us, and
So it's 3. So
yeah.
depending on what, I want to say Halder.
Yeah, of course.
We got his
Halder-
name right on the first
Yeah.
go?
Yeah.
Sweet!
That's a high five, man.
Woo! But depending on what he does, they have to work out now as to whether or not they let him trigger the reins.
Yeah.
And I think Tamás is very firmly in the no camp here.
It would seem. So we've got 1 for Hunted Forest. We got 3 for Sam, and then another 3 from Halder. So that's 7.
So in a situation like this, where
He actually
we're
wins
looking
the
at a card,
challenge. So
needs the
Tamás
challenge or give +1 strength from the Shadow Tower?
He just
No, he
decides-
gives +1 strength from the Shadow Tower.
Oh right.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
woo, Corin.
That's a good pull. That might actually be irrelevant, but because that means Evan can have his shipwright stick around for a bit.
Yeah. So in this situation, you have to wonder, and especially following up the Cross Keys review from last night, should there be limits on cards as to how many times their abilities can be used? Because every time we come across an ability that can be used without limit, you suddenly get into very, very dodgy situations.
Yeah, certainly. Right, there should always be limits on any. I think all abilities should have a limit.
Because FFG seem to know this. I mean, if you look at their latest favorite game, it was designed pure with a built-in limit of once per turn on everything that doesn't say otherwise.
Basically, yeah.
So it seems every time they sneak in a card like this in Thrones where they forget.
With Halder, you're thinking here now.
Yeah.
But I think also, like what we saw yesterday, the builders, the abandoned keep, or what it's called, the one that boosts for every builder. Obviously, that should have been limited to maybe up to 3.
3, 4.
Yeah, 3 would still be really, really strong. But having it no limit so that you can boost the strength of a builder by 8, it is crazy, and they should know that by now. So Tamás keep
He takes the
stacking
wall.
up. Yeah, he takes the wall, keeps stacking those power up, and Evan is still stuck at 3.
The funny thing is, heading into this tournament, there was all kinds of rumors that this would be the one where Tamás gets to
Trigger
switch
barriers,
factions.
You can
And
use
then
the board
Emil
barriers,
offered those
but no trigger
beautiful
barriers.
solid steel house cards.
Yeah.
You can choose.
And how could Tamás let the
Yeah.
Night's Watch card go to anybody else in the situation?
Right. I mean it helps us ballast whenever he's facing someone like Istvan or Rebeck that could actually flip the table on him. With that on the table,
Let's see what happens.
he's pretty safe, right?
Woo! Varys.
Hopefully you have all limited.
I think
cards.
this is the right pull. And
I
then
doubt it, but yeah.
Varberg Morghulis on top of this now.
But Aemon still saves himself.
Yeah, but that's just Eamon then.
And even doesn't have anything in hand.
No,
Fair enough.
but he has to, right? It's got to be better than having Eamon and Sam standing.
Why not let him rebuild here? Even play the trading that Tamás put too much out there. Then Valor.
Do you think?
So you get value on the Valor itself. Because right now you're using Valor to kill Sam. I know we all hate Sam.
Yeah, I agree with Evan's play here. I do. Give himself a decent turn now. When he has somewhat of a hand. If he doesn't, then we have. Oh, look at that.
Seems reasonable.
He keeps Sam for the draw, I suppose.
Go next turn.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, no, but this kind of makes sense because Sam can draw back up, and Evan's Valor is already gone. Evan has played one of his Varys, and you know Eamon's no good against Varys anyway.
Did he even draw anything there?
Not really. He still
Nothing.
has the reader in hand, and he's got another ship right. That's important. So yeah,
Yay.
and now he does get a bit of value on that. For nothing else, he gets value on his markets.
He's got money, just nothing to spend it on.
Well, the reader and he could.
He can't afford the and.
You don't think? No, he can't. Right. Yeah, because the reader is 5. Yeah.
He doesn't have a ship to get him to 4 strength.
No.
Earthquake in the camera room. Please do not be alarmed. Please do not adjust your television set.
And more economy for Tamás.
And a duped
Secure-
wall,
Duped
Seems to
wall.
be getting out of
so
hand now.
the Bay of Ice can no longer be raided.
Yeah.
And we can see another wall in hand, just in case.
Yeah. And we get a King's Road being deployed and used immediately for what? Ranging party maybe? Core and half hand maybe? Another Banyan. Ranging party. And maybe we might see the bird and then milk of the poppy on the reader.
That's just bullying. Don't play the
But
milk.
I'm quite sure he will. No, he didn't. He didn't play. Oh, that was
Fast challenge.
well. So the reader is operational. Not that he will get any on the posts, but still. So if you're Evan, are you even making challenges here? You don't, right?
You didn't.
No, but he's got a save in hand now, so that's fine. He will give an on post
10
for the
on
military,
post,
then he
plus
will
3
save the reader.
13. That's looking rough, innit?
Assuming that's military. I mean,
It has to be, hasn't it?
Yeah, let's go on the post.
probably, but Tamás
Is
could
it-
also just be going for speed. No, it's power.
It's power.
Oh, no, wait.
And
He's got
then
no choice.
But you still have the
military-
option for military with Sam.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah,
but
it's
I'd
post
think
that,
he
yeah.
want to make a green challenge. I would have liked the intrigue there.
It's military anyway, so
I have to intrigue.
Oh, there we go.
All right. So he
Cards I
gets
care
off
about
the intrigue anyway.
Because he has the icons on the board. The reset has been used.
Yep, yep.
Like, he's not actually afraid of a character being on even side.
Inside.
So the first game in the other semi-final is just completed, and Jacob Hultman grabbed the first win against Johan Larsson.
Yeah, so the builders are going down. The Tamás Jakob rematch is 1 game away.
Well, yeah. Because you already called this one, have you?
Well, I mean, look, let's look at this honestly, right? Heading into this match,
Yeah.
everybody's got their favourites.
Yeah.
Tamás has to be the fan favourite, just as we discussed
I think so.
along
yeah.
the entire road to
Especially
Stalin.
if you look at it internationally. Like here in Sweden, obviously Jakob Hultman is quite a fan favorite. Like if you ever met Jakob Hultman, it's hard.
Yeah,
not
but the
to have
Swedes
him.
aren't fans of the game. We talked about this. You guys don't even play it. You said what? Once a year is enough.
All right.
um,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I had a me.
So-
That was the only card I didn't want to do.
Personally, though, I still very much prefer even to win for a very selfish reason.
I should possibly
Go ahead.
use the.
On the entire European circuit,
Lard
Yeah.
throw. That was
even
the
has
only
beaten
thing,
me
yeah.
more times than any other player.
Right. So it makes you look good.
And
Yeah,
while
exactly,
Tamás is a
like
close second,
I need to
Yeah.
save
it gives me
that
that
for
element of
force.
legitimacy.
yeah. I can see that.
That
I
didn't
mean-
happen either.
Again, Tamás doesn't really need this win at all. Evan doesn't necessarily need it, but maybe he deserves it. But I don't think that Evan has a very good matchup against either Jakob nor Johan.
Well, the Jakob match is very nearly a mirror.
Well,
Their
it's
plot
not.
decks are very different,
They are. And
but the actual draw decks
Yeah, I
are
think that's
very, very
roughly
close.
that.
they are similar, but not very, very close. That there are obvious similarities, but I think definitely Jakob will have a significant advantage in that matchup.
In your
And
unbiased Swedish opinion.
in my unbiased Swedish opinion, and also I think that Evan already lost to Johan, a quite considerable match in the Swiss. So I think Evan isn't really the favorite to take the whole thing. Whereas Tamás obviously can win the whole thing. I think the fans obviously would like a rematch between Tamás and Jakob. I don't think the fans would like to see you on in the final, me
It's a pretty firm no.
yeah, me personally, obviously, since he's a good mate of mine, I'd be happy for him.
Maybe we could like put a YouTube video over his side of the board or something. I don't know, Dora the Explorer or something.
Something
exciting.
like that, yeah. Something colourful. Something with happy faces. So what's going on in the chat?
So we have Nerby fans back. He's one of our contest winners from yesterday, but we have no actual way to contact the guy.
Yes, everyone that won prizes yesterday,
Yeah, we have everyone else on the list.
right? So there's one guy missing, right?
Yeah, he's back up in the chat now, so let's see if we can get him to contact us.
So we're waiting for Tamás and Evan to regroup and start their second game here.
Didn't want to start without you.
See, I don't know.
You don't even need to be here, do you?
So we have Evan and Tamás taking the places again. They're about to start up the second game here now. So the first game was conceded. It ended in concession by Evan. And much like you, Ben, called it, it was over. And Evan felt it as well. He couldn't, even after the reset, he couldn't push anything through, really. And he didn't have enough cards in hand to come back.
Like, it was really kind of just emotional damage against his deck. Once they saw that even would deny them Victarian's leadership, they just said,
And he backed out.
Yeah,
So
like
we have him
against
shuffling that axe here.
and against Night Swords is really hard.
Tamás in a very, very organized fashion. Those are some straight lines.
We need an inside guy.
I don't
So
like.
if you can hear a bit of
armor.
noise in the background, that is the Lord of Light
Like in
tournament
this
going on.
matchup, I
Yeah,
wouldn't
which
want
is,
to give you any cards.
I guess-
6.52, yeah.
Yeah.
Required Yank deck tournament, where we have some special rules concerning the Barbarian card. It's I can't remember all the specifics of these rules, but basically he starts in play, and there are some special rules with his kiss tokens, and in the end you win if you have the more kiss tokens on him.
It's like a free card each turn.
Yeah, Sandwell only monochrome, but very useful.
Sorry?
Sandwell, only
Yeah.
one
yeah,
one
we're
icon,
going to have
only one strength. but
Vic grab a quick
it's
coffee
very-
while the player's getting set up.
I mean, you can easily give him more strength. That's the
We're
thing.
still trying to
Once you
work
have
through
Holder out,
and
it's
trying to
like,
contact this contest winner.
Of course I can win.
Gold from Sam.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like new Sam.
Yeah,
Because I don't think we received a message.
only monochrome and 3 cost. No insight.
I mean, he's got an interesting ability. Is the fact that he doesn't have core Sams inside.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's correct. It's a best of 3 match. So currently, Tamás and Jakob are both 1-0 up in their respective semi-finals. So we had Even pretty thoroughly destroyed with all the Night's Watch cards coming down, getting his character shut down early, and after the initial 3 power, failing to get anything else. So this time around, we got some big characters. It's a tough hand to consider because there is an element of economy that he
Keep as well.
had last game, but also the ability to put early pressure on with.
Good start.
Okay, so now we have a dupe Victarion. So with the dupe, it gives him the ability to start getting ready for his reset. So we'll see what kind of plots they go with.
So I had a quick look at the other game between Johan and Jakob, and they're 1 turn deep, and it's a heavy favorited board state for Jakob Hultman. No wall in sight for Johan, so it looks like Jakob Hultman is well set up to go into the final here. We can see in this game that Tamás has the wall in hand right now. He's also got economy on the board, which is it's only obviously going to make it easier for him. And we have trading from Evan into
Time for Maesters.
time for Maesters. So we get Eamon with a dupe immediately.
You want Balon to do
And
his
we
Balon
get
thing.
5 gold with that economy out. Enough to play the wall if he likes.
Much more than that.
Much more than that.
Because he gets 3 from trading, he gets 3 from
Oh,
Time for
right.
Maesters,
Yeah, I forgot
and he
about
gets
the
2 from
3
Underground Vault.
trading. Yeah, I forgot about the 3 from trading.
So 8 gold.
He gets to play a lot of nice cards here if you like.
You started, yes?
But this is also a very much stronger start from Evan, isn't it? Even though he has only the reducer
No pre-
in terms of economy,
Sure, but he's got
He's
a
got
Victarion with a dupe in hand.
and he's got that fast Balin on the board already with a ship to boost his strength. So this time around, maybe Evan can do some damage.
We would hope,
Yeah, yeah.
because it's definitely exciting to actually see them go to the full 3 games.
Right, right.
Much as it makes it easier on us to only have to commentate a couple.
10 gold.
All right.
So it seems to be like a hand of juicy characters for even.
And I can only assume Evan is going first here.
He's finally.
Well, Tamás would force him to go first.
Exactly. And that's some economy and another booster ship. And of course, there's 3 dupes for Victarion, and there's also Dagmar Cleftjaw here. And this early, Dagmar can actually wreak some havoc, can he?
Possibly, if he's able to get the wins for himself. It certainly would be nice to get the Appointed or Little Bird or something for him.
But with Victarion on the board, Cleftjaw could actually start doing damage, couldn't he?
Double
Because
dupe Victarion.
a double. Well, you you probably start with duping him once and keeping the other one in hand, but just for sure, like there are problematic situations that could arise otherwise.
But what does Tamás have in his hand that would punish him for a double dupe Victarion?
Nothing, but just out of precaution, I never play all 3 dupes. Well, all.
But then you lose one of them to intrigue claim.
Well, maybe, but rather that than have it make no difference at all. So reducer, Victarion's already on the board. Is that enough for Dagmar? No, a priest, and he's keeping 1 gold.
An unduped Victarion.
Yeah,
He seems to have gone way into Victor's camp.
That's even worse than I would do. But I can only assume Evan's got a plan here. He feels that he's probably going to lose some intrigue claim, and he really wants to keep Dagmar in hand. That's my guess. And he'd rather lose a dupe for Victarion than lose Dagmar. It makes
Okay.
sense. There's no reset coming up now from either side, so he doesn't really need. And he's got claim soak, so he doesn't really need that that dupe right now. So, Corn half hand with a Dragon Glass Dagger could potentially wreak some havoc. That could be problematic. Does Tamás pass challenges here? No, I don't think so. He's got milk there. Is he milking Victarion, or is he milking Balin? Balin. Yeah. I think that's the right call because Balin
Well,
can
Balin
be-
applies a lot more pressure. And
Yeah.
he lets him throw the military across
Right.
without actually kneeling, keeps his options open for blocking Corrin on a swing back.
Exactly.
Because
exactly.
Corrin can actually throw quite a bit of shade back.
Right.
Once he's taking out the priest and getting rid of Even's intrigue icon.
Right.
That's certainly inconvenient.
Yep, definitely. So we have Evan going first. So I would probably swing across with Balin and Victarion in a military challenge. With the ships, hold back his first this turn. He can boost them for 4. That would make it so that he could definitely swing through, and then kneel whoever didn't oppose, right? Because I don't think Tamás has any ways to boost his guys right now.
Well, it's still tough. Like, you might want to try and kneel
All right.
Corrin.
So we get a builder there. That's but that's a builder with just one icon right now.
Yeah.
But it could be significant because this is the blue one, the one that could be unopposed. Now he can oppose. Well, again, he doesn't have the walls. So it's not that important to oppose everything.
Yeah, so it's a tough situation because you got the large Corrin with the dragon glass dagger there.
Right,
So Victarion, you
Also,
could theoretically swing with Victarion, force a block with both, and stop the military coming across.
also, if you're Evan, don't you really want to push the intrigue challenge through? As long as the wall hasn't come up yet, you want to keep that hand of Tamás's really small, right?
Yeah.
Now, Evan can't know that Tamás already have the wall in hand, but surely if you can, you'd really like that intrigue going through, right? So he starts with the power challenge.
Military.
What? Oh, because Balin's milk. Sorry, it might not even be the power challenge. Balin's obviously milked. Silly me.
Yeah, so you can throw the military across
Yeah.
here. If
Yeah.
he ignores it, then you still kneel. You can't
Corrin.
kneel down
Yeah.
Corrin because he's got... No, because it's not a character ability. So he would be able to kneel down Corrin.
Yeah, of course he can kneel, Corin. So definitely being able to make it so that Corin can't attack is relevant because he wants that priest to stick around for a bit. So whether or not Corin blocks in this challenge, we can be pretty sure he's knelt after it. So this is I can only assume it's a military for 10 right now. Could be a power challenge, obviously, but I don't see it. So Evan's looking through his plot deck for some reason. Tamás is considering his options for blocking here. If you were Tamás, you'd block with Corin, right? It's kneeling
It depends
anyway.
as to whether or not he actually wants to get his own military challenge across, because he can get the military
Not what I
unopposed.
expected.
You could just let it go
Okay.
unopposed, have Aemon save somebody,
Right.
and still have the options for yourself to toss the 3 unopposed challenges across.
Right.
And that's what we see happening here.
Yeah, it is. So unopposed challenge bonus, and then kneeling down. Well, I can only assume Corin. And I'll claim first, obviously. So Tamás is saving the reducer with Aemon. And then we get Renown and kneeling Corin. Exactly.
No, that.
Now, if you are Evan, a green challenge with the priest, right? And then a blue challenge with the chump.
Would you not rather block the intrigue challenge?
No, I don't think so. Because Tamás hasn't seen any of his draw yet. And
Yeah, the big problem he has here, because he refused to play the Victarion dupe,
right?
is what does he do if Tamás Valor's next turn?
Why? Why would Tamás Valor in this case?
Because he saves the Aemon, he saves the Corrin,
Yeah.
he kills Victarion,
Right.
he kills the Balon,
Right.
he kills the intrigue icon, Kills
Yeah.
everybody on even side the board.
Yeah. You think he will do that? He gets 2 power from Benyon as well. Yeah, it's a pretty UC Valor as well.
I mean, it's possible even has the saves.
But that's, again,
from-
that's just another argument for actually attacking green now.
Sure, but then even would lose cards from his own hand. So, like, the opportunity cost here is...
Yeah, but Tamás has a way smaller hand. Well, not way smaller, but Tamás only has 3 cards in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with this play. In the case of the Valor, this is even more important, I think.
Might never get to
And he
trigger
can
this
boost
again.
the green into triggering his... He can actually trigger...
Yeah, in this
Yeah.
case, you probably trigger it.
Yeah,
You stand Victarion.
right.
You get him to
Another
swing
power.
across for the power.
But
Right.
What am
With
I
the
gonna
power,
do
he's
then?
able to beat both Benjen and the Shadow Tower Mason.
Exactly. Yeah,
So that'll get him to his 2 power, be able to save himself.
right. Yep, that's exactly what you do. And that makes the Valar a lot less juicy. So we have a range trigger into Power Behind the Throne, a stand token on it, and then unopposed power, and he pulls Halder out of the only character out of
Stand him.
Tamás's hand, which again makes that Valar less appetizing. He stands Hitarion and swings across full power, I assume. And then he can kneel down.
Whoever doesn't block, so he can kneel down Benjen.
Well, or the reducer, so he doesn't get that green coming his way.
What is this new green obsession of yours? I mean, I know it's practical and everything.
It is
But it's a really
kind
new
of-
side to you.
It's not a new side to me. Well, all right. I just woke up this morning feeling a lot less green.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're trying to rebalance your world perspective?
Right. Right.
So we're gonna pause against me.
Yeah. That's all I'm gonna
So
get this
This
game.
is pretty significant.
And
Evan having 2 power on Victorian. Also,
I'm gonna be
Evan
greedy and
is up to
eliminate
5 power total. And he does kneel down the reducer, just like I
Here we go.
suggested.
Unopposed.
And then Tamás swings across for both military and for power. And then Evan takes dominance. So Evan's at 5, Tamás is up to 3. And this is shaping up to be a really good game. I don't think Tamás can Valor in this position. I'd be
Probably
very-
not.
I'd be
Victorian
very
sticks
su-
around.
Yeah, I'd be very
Bale
surprised.
undead.
Yeah, but Balin's
The
already
economy
knelt.
is on Tamás's side.
Yep, but not by much. So building orders into confiscation. Balin's up and running again.
Well, potentially. We'll still have to see what building orders gets. Because
Yeah.
that could very easily get a Craven, another
Oh,
Milk.
right, yeah, right.
The first player.
The exciting thing is that even it wins initiative with this.
Mm-hmm.
And do we have a result from the other semi-final?
Not yet. They're still playing out there.
Why are you wandering in here, building excitement? You're
you-
supposed
you-
to
you can
walk in
actually-
holding a sign saying, I don't have results from the other semi-final.
Well, you can actually see them over there playing. So
Like what? With my eyes?
With your eyes.
Off
yes.
camera? Is that legal?
Well, I think so. So what's happening on the stream? We have Evan at this point probably marshalling. He's getting only 5 gold and he's only have 1 reducer. So he can't play Cleft Cure this turn. I bet he'd love to be able to play Cleft Cure though. Does this mean he keeps from not playing those 2 dupes again? Playing only the priest, maybe?
Yeah. At this point, with the power actually active on Victarion,
Yeah.
he could just be looking to protect his hand with the dupes.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the way he takes. the question is, does he play the priest, applying the pressure in green so much more? So we have the building orders coming in here. So Evan obviously took the first player here, and he forces Tamás to trigger
probably
his
want both.
building orders first.
Yeah, and this is the flexibility now.
Yeah, and that's Castle Black.
Going through and picking initiative based on the board state. So
Right.
here he feels he's in an advantageous situation with Victarion.
Yeah. So we get Castle Black for Tamás, and Evan is about to draw 2 cards, I suppose. Well, no, he's about to choose whether or not to discard the dagger from Corin Halfhand or the milk from Balin. But
But
it
the
has
dagger
to
is
be-
irrelevant here.
It has to be the milk, though.
What's going on?
He should discard the milk from Balin.
Confiscations are not optional.
You
Hello?
really should discard a card here.
Where are judges at?
With Samuel!
Let us summon them.
Yeah, we're trying to get hold of the judges.
Nope.
They remembered. They remembered.
There we go.
They remembered. They remembered.
Panic averted,
Yeah,
mostly.
panic-related. Mostly. So Balin's up and running again. They forgot to trigger the confiscation, but then they remembered and did. De glömde trigga confiscation, men sen kom de ihåg att göra det.
Yeah, you get a little sample of Elfish here that I've been experiencing for most of the weekend.
So we do have a fun little language of our own. Let's see what's happening there. Evan is folding his face into his hands, considering his options. He played the priest, as I predicted, and nothing else. And then we have, well, he must have played something else because he's haven't got any coins left. What else did he spend it on? I can't see anything else on his board. That's what you get when you're not paying attention.
Both problems.
So, Tamás is playing the wall and Castle Black for all his marbles. But what
not what
did
I wanted to see.
No, he does have 1 coin left. 2 coins even. Yeah, 2 coins. That makes sense because he's got a Rose Road. So the world is in order. And now Evan is moving
Each game
into
gets
his
the counter
challenge
to what
phase
I
here.
turn up with.
I bet he would love to see a shipwright right now. But before that, he'll have to try and kneel out something. I guess military with Balin and Victarion again could be something, but then again,
He only gets the 1 Victarion trigger this time.
right. So he starts with a power challenge with the Shump, and that makes sense because Tamás wants to defend anything at this point.
And everything.
And so Tamás will block that with the Tricon Builder because the Builder is now a Tricon. So that's the simple block. And then
Yeah, so in this situation, it puts him into
no,
a bit of a bind for when the military comes across.
Yeah.
So once the military swings, he then has to either let it go unopposed, leaning
Right.
the wall, which he is not going to want to,
no,
or he has to block with one of the guys, which then gets the other one knelt
Yeah.
with the Intimidate from Victarion.
oh no, he uses Castle Black here, leaving him with a little bit more options. Yeah, that makes sense. I'd probably save Castle Black for Corin, but yeah, this is all right. Corin's at 7, right? So that
Yep.
makes this block could be for 7. No, Corin's at 8 because of the wall. So 8 to 30.
Yeah, so if Corin defended the military by himself
Yeah.
and then stood with Castle Black, he'd be too big to kneel with the Intimidate.
Right. So 15. Yeah, so that it would have probably been even more advantageous to just keep Castle Black in it. But as it stands now, he can actually defend the red challenge if he puts all 3 of them into it.
In the meantime, we have an intrigue for 8 going across.
Right. And that could be relevant because that means that he could flip into Filthy Accusations and kneel down Corin, and then get the red across, and that's pretty good. So we have a small little block with the chump there from Tamás, and I think we will have a range trigger into Filthy Accusations now, and then he will, or he could actually flip into versus Riddle to be able to search his deck for possibly Balin's ship, giving Balin stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. So we have a range trigger here, I think. No? Maybe? Could be?
He has to look at what his options are.
Yeah, but
Because
that's...
what would you trigger off Reigns here?
Either versus Riddle in order to search your deck for maybe Balin's ship, giving Balin
I don't
stealth.
think Balin's ship is actually getting played that much anymore.
I'm not sure Evan is running it, actually. I'm not. Could we have a look at that? Because if he is running it, it's pretty neat here. I'm certain that Jakob is running Balin's ship in his deck. I mean, Balin...
It's incredible value with it. But it's
it's
just the question is, how many
incredible
deck slots
value.
do you want to dedicate to it? And still be able
one
to
or two.
realistically draw it?
One or two, and then you play maybe Support of the People.
Because you're not really getting the
Also-
unopposed
also-
deck anymore.
Also, I do know that Evan is running the Raider ship that allows you to get unopposed if you're first player. So what we had here was a
Military.
Corin Halfin being knelt with Filthy Accusations, and then we have a military swinging across with both Balin and Victorian, and this will completely kneel down Tamás's board, I'm sure, because he will intimidate Benyon down, and I can only assume that Eamon is going to save something. No, he takes a dupe off of Eamon instead, making the reset option slightly more interesting for Evan if he could get a save on the board, or even in his hand. So we're looking at what character to intimidate, maybe? It has to be Benyon, doesn't it? No, Eamon. He doesn't want the green challenge coming through.
Yeah, he's not worried about Benjamin's situation, because any challenge that Benjamin tosses across, you're going to have Balon able to block it.
Of course. Yeah, you're right. That's just more renown for Balin. All right. We stand, and that must have been dominance for Tamás, right? No, that was... Yeah, it was...
No, it was dominance for even with Balon against Benjamin. Big Balon, small Benjamin.
Right. But Tamás had some coins left, right?
I think they both had coins.
And they're 5 strength each.
All right.
So I think that was Tamás's dominance.
That's not very good either.
Now, plot face again. And yeah, it looks like Evan wants to draw here, and that makes sense. Evan's going into counting, and so does Tamás. Both of them wants more options, and yeah, that's fair. Again, Tamás does have more economy. There any significant cards in either hand coming in here? What did he's hiding
Well, what's
it.
actually needed for him? You have
More
another
Benjen-
Benjamin
oh,
for the power stacking up. You have Cravens
Sam
coming
and
up there.
Craven. Sam and Craven is very significant. Craven
And
on
for even,
for Evan, we still have all the dupes. We have a save.
we have a Risen. More
We have
Risens.
Dupe for Balin. Dupe for Balin is just the ticket here.
Great, you're gonna live forever.
Yeah, this is and now one of the dupes for.
And now
Victorian's
economy.
Blade. We've got
Valar is
Asha.
coming. Woot woot.
Yes,
Anything.
Valar will be coming. We got
Wall is
two
going to be
saves.
going to the deck.
I think he's got 2 saves in hand as well, and we've got Dagmar and we've got Asha, and that is also a Euro.
Wall is going away.
Yeah, I think this is looking up for Evan at the moment. Of course, you can never really count out Tamás, can you? He can
Well-
come back from pretty much anything.
You can't, because if you're looking through the questionnaire here,
Yeah.
and some of the answers are quite horrifying.
Right.
When did you start playing the game, Tamás? Answer: 2005.
Yeah.
In the CCG.
Yeah.
Like, how can you do that to somebody?
Yeah, I mean, certainly Tamás has the experience.
He's been playing it for over a decade.
Yeah, and also as the core box for 2.0 was released, he started building a Night's Watch deck, I think, and he's been building on that Night's Watch deck ever since.
Well, that's not entirely accurate. He was actually top Tyrell at Batalla por el Muro in 2016.
Yeah.
That's
All right. So we have Craven on Balin, and that is fairly significant. And then we have Sam and a bird, and Sam is duped. Ben Yin is duped, and Tamás is down to 2 cards. So Tamás's board is surely not looking as intimidating as Evans's board, but it is though. With Castle Black, another Dragon Glass Dagger here on the Tricon builder. It's stronger than it looks. It's much stronger than it looks. Also, Benyon and Corin can't be stealthed. Well, yeah, it's going to be tough to kneel that wall. So Evan pretty much has to outrace Tamás.
But he doesn't have to kneel it, because
No,
he
no,
can
no.
bounce
Yeah.
at the top of the deck.
Right.
Because raiding Bay of Ice doesn't require an unopposed challenge.
But he doesn't have
I like the
raiding in
Beating
hand,
Assault.
I don't think. I think that
Totally does.
he does.
Yeah.
It looked like 2 saves to me.
Oh, he's got everything in there.
He's got everything in there.
I mean, he's got an Ace of Spades,
right. Yeah.
raiding the Bay of Ice, saves
Right.
for his characters,
Yeah,
Asha for after the reset.
Royal Strat Flush.
Well, you know,
You know.
we start with the Ace of Spades.
Well, that is, yeah, that is very much so. So
There we
he
go.
could-
I see things. I don't need a googly-eyed raven to be able to see things.
the all-seeing eyes of Ben Fox. Like, so
There we go. A
he's
cheeky power going across.
cheeky power going across.
Just continuously taunting Tamás over his lack of a shadow tower.
Right. A shipwright would have been the Dog's Bullocks here, right?
6.
For some reason, Tamás feels like he needs to win this.
Well, Castle Black. So you
Yeah.
start stacking up the renown.
And yeah.
So he's not just stuck in a builder-like situation
Right,
of just
right.
waiting for that 2-power return to roll in.
Yeah, this is the difference between Tamás's deck and Johan's deck. Johan-
Tamás's deck can play the game.
Yeah, and Johan's deck can shut down the game. All right, so Evan wants to win a challenge, but what challenge can he win that?
Well,
The
he can't
green-
force through the
green-
military.
The intrigue challenge, obviously.
He can win it.
Yeah,
But what
certainly.
does he get?
Well, he gets to put the wall on top of Tamás's deck, right?
I suppose.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Problem is with no pillage, it just comes straight back up.
Right.
So a lot of the time, raiding the Bay of Ice, you'd want to pair it with some pillage.
Yeah, he might want to keep that in his hand until he get Euron out and can.
But
steal
even
it.
without Euron, their new forecast character would bestow.
Sorry.
Their
Yeah.
Greyjoy forecast
yeah,
character
yeah.
would bestow.
But he doesn't have any of those in hand, right?
I'm not even sure he has them in the deck.
No. So, but with Euron, he does have pillage, and he also has the means to grab that wall and force it out of play. And that would be game, right? So we have a block here. Tamás is blocking for. Right now, he's blocking for 4-6. 6 against 6. No, 6 against 8. The priests are up to 4 as well. 6 against 8. So this is he's basically blocking enough to force Evan to use the ships if he wants to trigger Reigns. But I don't think Evan is looking to trigger Reigns here. Maybe to grab 3 more cards with Varys Riddle. That could be interesting, but I don't think he's going to use the ships for it. And Intrigue Claim for Tamás was that last card, maybe, of his hand? Yeah. He discards... he discards a piece of Nightmares there. And then Evan wins Intrigue for... He's not triggering, he's not playing Pillaging.
Does he even win Intrigue? Because he
Oh,
was
he did.
blocked by
He
Aemon
did.
and Shadow Tower.
Yeah, 4-6.
If Nightmares gets played...
Oh, he played the Nightmares. He could have played Nightmares.
Because if he plays the Nightmares,
But
then...
he didn't have any gold.
Okay, that's less likely so.
Yeah. So that I think it was claim. And Tamás has no hand. Evan's got lots of hand. Of course, Tamás will be swinging a Intrigue challenge of his own back, with Sam getting inside. Evan is thinking about the military challenge, I suppose. Oh no, he's still thinking about this challenge, right? No? No? No?
Return the wall to the top of the deck.
Ah, he did put the wall on top of the deck already this turn.
It buys him time.
It does. It does. And then the Nightmares for claim.
Yeah. Because in this situation, it takes up most of Tamás's turn because he doesn't play the economy.
Yeah.
As we said, like outside of the underground vaults.
Right, right.
So if he manages to duck under the 4 gold production,
Right.
under the 5 gold production,
Yeah.
then it will take most of Tamás's turn to play the wall itself.
Yeah, yeah. Assuming that he draws...
The top card of his deck?
Yeah, right,
I think that's
right.
likely.
That's likely, yeah. But didn't... No, that was Aemon. Yeah. Sorry. I thought he was discarding the wall, but he wasn't. He put it where it's supposed to go. Having a quick count of the discard pile. So Evan is actually getting some mileage out of his fish markets here. The discard pile is big enough to warrant 2 gold each turn for
Huzzah.
Evan. Right. And will we be seeing a military challenge coming back across, you think? Probably not, right?
Can't really force it through.
No. I mean, just for kneeling purposes, but I don't think
Can he?
so. No, I don't think so.
Because right now, Benjamin is 5
Yeah.
and Corin is 8. So
Yeah.
he swings over for 13.
Right.
And the guys can block
No,
for
he
12.
can't. No, he can't swing over for 13. Benyon has a Craven. Sorry, Balin's got a Craven.
No, I'm talking about Tamás swinging back.
All right. Tamás swinging back quite heavily, yeah. So, Intrigue with Sam. An Insight. It's the no-brainer part of this. And claims the 3rd dupe for Victarion.
Getting deep in Evan's mind games.
Yeah, yeah. And then 10, 12, and that's 8. If he wants to force a military through, he has to go with both Balin and both Corin and Benyon.
They can also just force through the power between the
Yeah,
two of them.
and I think that's probably better.
Because that gets claim for 1 and takes 1 off even. It gets another renown onto Corin himself.
Right. So I think that's probably the better play here. But it looks like Tamás decides to divide between the 2 challenges here. Going, I guess, power with Benyon, maybe? He wants to trigger... I think he wants to trigger Corin's ability so they can kill one of the priests. And that makes sense.
Yeah, in terms of the priests becoming exposed
Yeah.
to Corin's ability, you have to wonder about the wildfire
Right.
from the
Right.
rains.
Right, right.
Actually, the rains trigger here. He didn't really have enough. Like, he attacked for 8, which was blocked for 6.
Right.
Which was blocked for more than that, because he got dagger as well.
Yep.
So that was blocked for 7. So there wasn't really even an option for the Reigns. Not unless he used
Reigns,
both ships.
yeah, both hits.
And if both ships wouldn't let him bounce the wall.
No, exactly. So we have Balin defending the power challenge, I think.
Well, we have to assume it's a power challenge.
Yeah. Or actually, he's not defending it, he's opposing it in that case. No, Evan's going back on that. I think Evan might know that he might have to defend the military challenge.
It's really a question now bouncing through his head as to what he's playing in the next plot.
Yeah.
Because he has to wonder if it is time for Valor.
Right, you have to. Evan's got at least one save in hand.
Because the big thing about triggering the Valor here is that it puts Tamás into a situation where he has to decide if he actually sacrifices Benjen with the dupe
Right, right.
to get the 2 power off him,
Exactly.
or if he just takes the
Okay.
dupe off him,
Yeah.
which then leaves him exposed to a potential virus down the line.
Right, right. And since he doesn't have enough economy to both build his board and play the wall, he might almost have to save Benjen, right? And then we have a military being blocked.
Okay.
No, all right. So he blocked with
He blocked the
Balin.
power.
He blocked the power with Balin
Wayne.
and
With
got
both.
some.
He gained power for each. He kept
Yeah.
his own power.
Yeah, yeah.
So that puts him at 10 now.
Right.
So he's really kind of looking at getting in range of closing it out.
But why did he claim a dupe on Balin?
He claimed the dupe on Balin because he's not playing his Valor this turn.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
Because we
right?
saw that with the save on
Yeah.
Priest.
Yeah.
Like, he believes he's close enough to be able to close it out.
without valoring. Yeah. All right. All right. And he is close. I mean, yeah, sure. He's at 9-11. Where this means he's playing the Greyjoy slot, right? Has to be the Greyjoy
No
slot.
one take any
Yeah,
of
he's
this.
playing the 2A2.
Yeah.
I'm surprised to not see it here, actually.
Heads killing
Definitely
Asha.
not her.
Ugh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And they draw back up.
You draw the
No,
line.
he played Summer Harvest.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But we can see it live.
Yeah. And I'm just not paying attention. So what did Evan
You
draw?
might play it.
That's actually interesting. He drew Vex Pike and the save.
No, Euron comes down the turn after the wall gets raided from the Bay of Ice.
Yeah.
So much horror.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
This is tragic.
No, we knew Euron was in hand. He had Euron in hand already last time.
Did he?
Yeah, that's why I said he should. That's what I was talking about.
We talk about a lot of things.
Yeah, most of it is just me spouting nonsense, but sometimes I do actually get onto something. Right, so we have Evan marshalling now. He's got to marshal Euron, doesn't he? Put some pressure on here.
Euron tried to force through the power?
Right, right. It's got to be Euron, right?
Well, problem is he's far away. So even if he forces through the power with Euron and Victarion,
Right.
that isn't the win.
Well, it is. Oh, so Jacob just won his second game.
Builders
against
are
Yuan.
down.
So Builder went
Builders
down.
are down.
And Jacob's through to the final, and it's just one claim, right? So it's a one claim blocked, and
So
two renowned.
He looks like he's going to be one power away.
It does.
We have
indeed.
Buzz himself joining us here in the commentary booth for however briefly that might be. He's going to speak some words.
I'm just here to observe. What are you doing?
Well,
So
we're trying to
he's-
figure out. We're really excited about it even being so close. Euron is one turn too late to steal the wall, which would have been beautiful. And I'm sure there will be a standing ovation around the world from the 53 viewers.
Can he win still? What's the power
Evan,
count?
yeah,
He's
Evan's
got
at
11 power on even side
and we're at
Sorry, Alan.
against 10 on Tamás.
10 on Tomas's side. So it's We're closing in on the end game here.
Tamás has the wall in hand.
Right.
He's got Benjamin on the board.
Yep. Right. So Tamás is pretty close as well. And some card
He even
draw.
doesn't take it this turn.
Yeah.
He puts himself into a position where Tamás will wildfire or something for
Right.
Benjamin next turn.
Right,
And
right,
take it all away.
right. Absolutely.
So like the Asha heads there really kind of puts him on
Yeah,
a clock.
yeah, it did. It did. Hitting Asha with that heads was instrumental here.
So now he has to work out how to get his 4 power.
Yep. And he needs to win a power challenge, get renown on both Euron and Balin, but he could if he can trigger Reigns, he can flip into versus Riddle, hoping to hit something with heads. That could be interesting.
But he
So a strong intrigue challenge here in order to trigger Reigns. That makes a lot of sense. Problem is, how is he going to get renown? Oh, then he don't need. Yeah, he still needs renown on Victorian, no?
even a successful heads here only gets him to 14.
Exactly. So he still needs to get
Try and hold back for dominance.
maybe. But then he
But that
needs
really
to be,
puts it in Tamás's
yeah,
hands.
And then he needs to be able to defend the power as well.
How would you do it, Buzz?
Could he trigger Reigns with just the 2 priests? The priests are at
Well,
5 and 4. That's 9, and then the 2 boats for another 4. So that's 11. And Tamás could
9
muster.
plus 4 is 11.
No, it's 13. Sorry. Tamás could muster 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13 if he uses Castle Black. So, no, he can't force a...
He can't force the
Reigns.
reins without Euron jumping in there.
No,
If Euron stays out of it, then he can't force through the power.
no.
I'm really surprised, actually, at the Summer Harvest here.
Yeah, I would have thought that he would have played the Greyjoy.
Because
but-
giving himself the 2 claim
Yeah, that would have...
would let him swing power for all the marbles.
Right, right. Yeah.
And the power
really
is tough because there's
surprised
very
that-
large characters on Tamás's side,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's not an impossibility.
No, not with the priests and Euron, obviously not. So we do have the green here.
Well, he wouldn't have been able to afford Euron
No.
with the Greyjoy plot.
Right, right. That's right. That's right. So he's going in intrigue here, right? This has to be intrigue since Victorian's not in it.
Plus 14 I.
Yes.
And Tamás is blocking with just a chump. Wow. Tamás chump blocks it, letting Evan trigger his reins.
But it also gives Tamás so many options
But
in terms of...
what's in Tamás's hand? Wow. Ooh. Oh, this is interesting. This is so very interesting.
Spicy.
Yes. This is incredibly bold play. So what is Tamás going to do? He's definitely keeping Corin. Is he keeping Benjen or is he killing Benjen?
Well, if he keeps Benjen and he keeps Corin, he's then able to defend whichever challenge Even tries to go with. But it makes it much harder for him to force through because the double renown block
Yeah,
then gets even the win.
right. Right. He can't save Aemon here, can he? He has to kill Aemon, right? Oh, This is such a tough decision.
Yeah.
It's a really bold play from Evan. I'm not sure it will do it for him, but it could.
I really want to do that.
It could be enough.
Yeah. That could be.
Wow.
Wow.
So that goes to your hand, but it's not an opposed.
It was opposed.
Yeah, claim one. That goes to dagger. Green pillage.
Intrigue, because
So we have
if he
12
grabs-
on
if-
the Greyjoy
if-
side, and 12 on the Greyjoy side against 10 on the Night's Watch. So 10 on the Night's Watch, he can now force through the unopposed Intrigue with Aemon, which is going to be taking him to 11.
Right.
The wall will take him to
Very close. If you have one more power, you win.
13.
13.
Yeah, but I don't think I'll
and
get
then
that.
2 power, and then 1 power for dominance.
One opposed, but
So he can go to 14 this turn.
Any point. because
Tomas's
we got
can, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, yeah, I would have gone with versus Riddle and hoping to be able to trigger the heads if I was
You can get.
Evan. I would definitely have
Tomas, I don't think Tomas has any cards in hand.
So
Is he out?
if you.
Oh, all right. So that's why.
No,
That's
8,
why.
13.
Tomas is empty-handed.
13.
All right.
To 15. So I
Yeah.
can't
So
win.
I think even past the challenges here,
Yeah, he has to. Otherwise, Tomas's win.
He is
because he's still got the Castle Black
Yeah, yeah.
to stand
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Corin if he
7,
does not.
8,
Yeah.
9,
No, no,
10.
he can't challenge it. That's a win for
Am I
Tomas.
doing anything?
He has to defend here.
Yeah, I pass challenges.
All right. So intrigue for unopposed, and yeah, claim, but mostly for unopposed. Fairly insignificant claim.
Give him next game turn.
And what now? Can Tomas force the power?
Tomas is on 13. Balon and Vic between them can get to 14. So he can't force through either of the
No, he
challenges here.
can't. He can't.
I stop it. Don't worry.
No, he's on
Yeah.
11. No, 13. 13.
So he
with the
takes the
dagger.
wall
Yeah, he takes the wall.
and he takes dominance.
Yep.
Goes to 14 power.
Yeah. And Evan's at 12. But now, surely Evan has to play.
So we have to assume Tomas dials in the heads on spikes.
Right, right. No, he's already played 2 heads. And that's, yeah, of course, now he has to play the Greyjoy plot. And Tomas flips into Valor.
For the Benjamin and the game.
Yeah. So that's a win for... That is a win for Tomas, right?
And now we have a rematch of last year's
Not
final.
what I expected.
Yeah. So Tomas wins with Valor. And yeah, I think Evan is just figuring it out.
I'll go.
Because there's nothing he can do against that. I don't think he can save Benyon with his
Yeah.
save there.
Would certainly be cool.
If he would have had a Iron Mine out, I think he could have saved Benyon with it, can't he? Or is it only character you control?
Why? I don't
Why
think
is-
Evan has realized this.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think Evan has understood yet that he's lost.
Second save.
No, save.
And
Just skill. And that's
Just
it.
and it seems
I
that.
forgot about that. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there we
No,
go.
that's fine.
There we go.
No, I thought
Alright,
it had some
we
spikes,
have
so that was
our
why I was confused.
finalists
Like,
here.
oh,
It
yeah,
was
wait a
looking
minute.
so close for
That's
Evan
why I
there.
didn't draw any,
But
15
unfortunately
side
for
and
him,
with the red
Wow.
one,
just
so that
came
has a
off
spike,
a
spike
little
by
bit
the
short
wall.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
bit
Rise
short.
of the Kraken the turn
Last turn,
before
last turn,
might
yeah.
have
No,
done it
again.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
just
where were they?
jamming through the power challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only one power you did.
Yeah, I don't
But
think.
it wasn't to be. Wasn't to be. All right, we'll be back shortly with the final best out of 3 between Tamás
I did
and
some in the
Jakob
first
Putman.
one.
That will be a
But that
rematch
one
of
was
last
kind of
year's
the first
final.
one was so one-sided, but-
So that's it for variants for you. See you in a
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, I had my Cravens, I had a Castle Black, and
Yeah.
you had no at all the
The stealth.
newly made Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the